back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back pickle biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
What is up, full-time family? We are about to do a deep dive on Cris Cyborg because she is taking what I feel like unnecessary shots at the champion Amanda Nunes. Now let's get into this. A lot of us know what's been going on between Cris Cyborg and Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes has been campaigning for a Cyborg fight. Cyborg has been giving us 3 to 4 different reasons that she doesn't want to fight Amanda Nunes. A lot of people, you know, Cyborg Nation is of course picking which excuse they want to take. Some of them say no, she wants a legitimate division. Some of them are taking the route, no, Amanda Nunes isn't a draw. Well, whatever reason, Cris Cyborg went on and accepted the fight for UFC 226. Now, Cris Cyborg is saying that she'll only accept the fight on a huge card because Amanda Nunes doesn't sell pay-per-views. What it really comes down to is neither does Cris Cyborg, and I will explain why. Cris Cyborg keeps taking shots saying, and this is what she's saying, Amanda Nunes' brand is too weak, so she needs Cyborg to sell pay-per-views. Well, Cris Cyborg, everything she is saying is letting us know she needs other big names to sell pay-per-views. If Cris Cyborg, and she literally contradicts herself, I'll get into all of this, but Cris Cyborg needs another big name to sell pay-per-views too. And she's saying she doesn't, but if that's the case, you would fight Amanda Nunes and you would sell all of the pay-per-views. Listen, she's saying that Amanda Nunes needed Miesha Tate and Brock Lesnar on her undercard to sell all of the pay-per-views at UFC 200, which may be true. She's saying that Amanda Nunes needed Ronda Rousey to sell 1 million pay-per-views at UFC 207, which may be true. She's saying, and it proves it whenever you look at Amanda Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko. She only sold 100,000 pay-per-views. I get it. Amanda Nunes might not be 1 million pay-per-view draw star, but neither is Cris Cyborg. She's making it sound like she's the draw and Amanda Nunes is not. Well, if that's the case, you would do the same thing Ronda Rousey did. You would bring in all the pay-per-view buys, but you clearly don't feel like you are a pay-per-view draw, or else you versus Amanda Nunes would draw, just like Ronda Rousey, just like Miesha Tate. If her opponent is selling the pay-per-views, wouldn't you be doing the same thing? Wouldn't Cris Cyborg be the one selling the pay-per-views if they fought on any card? But what Cris Cyborg, essentially Cris Cyborg wants the most money possible. Now that she's a UFC champion with pay-per-view buys, she wants the most pay-per-view points as possible. This is really a money grab in my mind as far as her reasoning behind this Amanda Nunes stuff, because as I just pointed out the contradiction, but this is what Cris Cyborg had to say. Amanda Nunes fought Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate with big pay-per-view numbers. The reality is that the UFC promoted her opponents more than her, and after having to fight her own brand, she struggled to sell 100,000 pay-per-views against Valentina Shevchenko. Amanda Nunes knows my name sells pay-per-views, and without her brand, it isn't strong enough to sell enough pay-per-views to reach her bonus incentives in her contract. Check this out. Cris Cyborg's last pay-per-view that she fought she had Holly Holm, UFC 219. Holly Holm is a big name. So just like when Amanda Nunes fought Ronda Rousey, Holly, you can use the same argument for Cris Cyborg. Yeah, it was Cyborg versus Holm, but Holly Holm got a lot of promotion as the challenger in that fight because she's a bigger name as far as pay-per-view buys are concerned than Cris Cyborg. Also, when has Cris Cyborg ever sold pay-per-views by herself? It wasn't when she fought Holly Holm. That wasn't by herself. That was the end of the year UFC 219 card. Don't forget, Khabib Nurmagomedov was also on that card. Now we can go back to UFC 214 where Cris Cyborg had 800,000 pay-per-view buys. Guess who else was on that card? 2 other fucking title fights. Jon Jones versus DC2. Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia. And Cris Cyborg versus Evander. So you had all 3 of those title fights, Cris Cyborg and Jon Jones, and we didn't hit 1 million pay-per-view buys. What are you talking about really now? So what I'm getting out of this is Cris Cyborg will fight Amanda Nunes, but she's saying me and Amanda Nunes, and she's not saying this because she's saying that she's a draw, but what her actions aren't showing that she believes she's a draw, because if Cris Cyborg thought she was a draw herself, if her and Amanda Nunes fought, they would hit their incentives because Cris Cyborg's going to sell all the pay-per-views. But I feel like Cris Cyborg doesn't she's not truly confident in her ability to sell pay-per-views. Now keep in mind, when Cris Cyborg fought Lena Landsberg on a Fight Night Brazil card, there was 1 million viewers. But that was a one-time thing. Cris Cyborg main eventing Lena Landsberg. It was a Brazilian card. Paul Felder, Francisco Trinaldo. There was quite a few fights. Roy Nelson, Bigfoot was on that card. So yeah, Cris Cyborg was probably the biggest star on that card, but it was for free. That doesn't translate to pay-per-view buys. Someone might be willing to tune in to watch Cris Cyborg, beat a chick down for free if they got nothing else to do that night, but that was a one-off thing. Cris Cyborg has never proved in the UFC that she can sell pay-per-views by herself. It's not happened. You can point to UFC 219, and we can point to Holly Holm and Khabib 214, 2 other title fights. So I just don't like the fact that Cris Cyborg is making it look like Amanda Nunes is not a draw. That's why we can't fight. Well, you're not a pay-per-view draw either. That's all I'm saying. You might be a bigger star, definitely, or whatever, in Brazil or Cyborg Nation. But to me, if Amanda Nunes can sell 100,000 pay-per-views, Cris Cyborg can probably sell 200,000. It's not like she's fucking Ronda Rousey, John Jones. She's not near as big of a star as that. So with that being said, it is what it is. I still hope this fight happens. Cris Cyborg went on to say more. I mean, I feel like I've covered everything, but I do have it for you guys. I mean, she went on to talk of, yeah, I mean, right here they talk about the Lena Landsberg numbers and stuff like that. I already covered that. So with that being said, yeah, man, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. There's the rest of what Cris Cyborg had to say in this BJ Penn article if you want to pause it and read it. But I essentially covered everything. She's saying that she's a draw and Amanda Nunes is not. And I'm just saying, hey, if that's the case, you would be able to sell the pay-per-views, right? Just like Ronda Rousey did. Just like you're saying Miesha Tate did. So with that being said, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. Moral of the story is Cris Cyborg wants money. She wants to get paid. She wants to hit pay-per-view numbers. And maybe if Conor's on the card, she can get some Conor dough. Or maybe, she was already on a John Jones card. I mean, what more do you want from me? I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOWG.